Good morning and welcome to Reliable Sources. Brian Stelter is off this weekend. I'm Jeffrey Toobin. We have a lot going on this week. In a few minutes, I'll talk to Dan Rather on the big changes in network news this week. But first, did you see this? Matt Lauer's interview with the first female CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra. Check out these questions and answers.
I'm going to tread lightly here, but you've heard this. You heard it in Congress and you've heard it in the headlines. You got this job because you are hugely qualified. 30 years in this company, a variety of different jobs. But there are some people who are speculating that you also got this job as a woman and as a mom because people within General Motors knew this company was in for a very tough time. And as a woman and a mom, you could prevent a softer face and softer image for this company as it goes through this horrible episode. Does it make sense or does it make you bristle?
Well, it's absolutely not true. I believe I was selected for this job based on my qualifications.
You're a mom, I mentioned, 2 kids. You said in an interview not long ago that your kids said they're going to hold you accountable for one job, and that is being a mom.
Correct.
Given the pressures of this job at General Motors, can you do both well?
I think I can. I have a great team.
So how many male CEOs get asked these sorts of questions? When the phones lit up and Twitter caught fire, Lauer responded on Facebook. He said Barra herself was the first to bring up the work-family balance issue. He wrote this: "It's an issue almost any parent, including myself, can relate to. If a man had publicly said something similar after accepting a high-level job, I would have asked him exactly the same thing." But would he really? Is it perhaps the sort of sexism that men engage in without realizing it? Here's someone who knows a lot about these issues, a former host of the Today Show herself, who now anchors Inside Edition. Well, yes, balancing work and family. Deborah Norville, welcome. So, you heard the exchange. What did you think?
I'm disappointed. I think a lot of people are. Matt is usually a very elegant interviewer, and with that aspect of the interview, he simply bobbled it. It was not the right question to ask. If he had stopped with the question, which gave voice to the speculation about the fact that some have suggested that Mary Barra was put there to put a softer face, as he put it in the question to Ms. Barra, as all of these safety problems were coming to the forefront at General Motors. That's a legitimate question. He could have left it there and I think been just fine. But to go into the mommy juggle question, that is toxic territory in these times, and unfortunately he stepped into it.
Well, I guess the reaction that so many people had, certainly I had it, was, would you ever see a male CEO of General Motors or anywhere else ask that question about raising children?
And Matt has, gone on Facebook and tried to defend himself and saying, yes, I would ask that question. But the fact is, Matt has been on television for a great number of years, asking many very important people a lot of questions, and no one can find any evidence that that's a question he's ever put to a male CEO. And if that's Matt's defense in asking this, then he should just throw up some links and say, yeah, remember the time I asked so-and-so? He didn't. It was a mistake. I'm sure he wishes he'd phrased the question differently if he thought that needed to be asked. But the fact is, no one has asked Alan Mulally, who was running Ford for so many years, about his 5 kids. Dan Akerson, Mary Barra's predecessor, left General Motors for family reasons. His wife is suffering with cancer. No one has pointed a great spotlight of that in any kind of pejorative or questioning way. People have families, but we generally don't get asked a lot about them unless you're a woman.
So is the answer for us as journalists to ask both men and women these sorts of questions, or is the answer to ask neither and just concentrate on the business issues?
Look, I think the reason Mary Barra was there because of the business issues that she is confronting as the CEO of General Motors. Matt said that he asked the question because of a small reference that had been made in a Forbes magazine interview that he referenced, and he actually put the link on his Facebook page. The first response that I saw when I went on his Facebook page was from the author of that article from Forbes, who said it was a very, very, very small part of that article article. I think the answer to your question is, when it's appropriate, you ask. If Sheryl Sandberg has just published a book, as she did a couple of years ago, talking about how she manages her family time and her business time, she's put it out there. Mary Barra didn't do that. Mary Barra was there for the exclusive interview, the first time talking about General Motors' approach to these very serious safety problems that have been ongoing and date back to the time when, dare I say it, a male was the CEO of the company.
I'll say, you know, those of us who do a lot of work on live TV, Matt Lauer certainly a great deal longer and more celebrated than me, you know, sometimes we just make a mistake and we wish we could take it back. Maybe shouldn't he have just said, you know what, I blew it and I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's absolutely the approach. We are all humans. Our feet are made of clay, and live TV is fraught with peril, and sometimes we goof. And I think most people appreciate the tightrope walk that anybody working on live TV does. And I think if Matt had simply said, man, that was a dumb question, that was a boneheaded question, or simply, gosh, I didn't phrase that the way I wish I had, I'm sorry, I think people would have moved on.
I'm sorry. You almost never go wrong with I'm sorry.
I'm sorry is a pretty good thing. You know, spouses should definitely remember that, to say to the hubby or the wife, I'm sorry is a really good couple of words to keep in your back pocket.
Indeed. Deborah Norville, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.